So I have a 4Runner trail. You can tell because I don't have the decal and I have a hood scoop. So with these wheels, important thing to do is to go into your toolkit, get this tool out, and use it to pry in that little hole. Because otherwise, when you're taking off your lugs, you're gonna scratch up this beautiful little shield daily bob. And when you put it back on, just make sure you kind of clean up these things. Push it on as far as you can, and then give it a good tap with your heel, sitting on the ground next to the car, and it'll go right on. Or rubber mount it, whatever, if you're not flexible enough to do what I did. Yeah, also for when you're popping it off, while you're in there getting that pry tool, you might as well use this to get the lugs off. I did it with my car in the air. I just jacked up from the center and put my jack stand there just in case. Car's a little tippy when I'm doing the lugs, but it didn't tip over, so we're good. I broke them loose with that and then took them the rest of the way off with this because there's about 1 million little threads on there and I don't have patience. Took the first one off and took it over to my toolbox to check the size. 13/16, now you know. So basically this part is separate from this part. This is the part you're going to take off. This part has a piston on the back and then just like a little curved part that holds the pad on the other side. And this thing can slide back and forth on these. These can slide in and out. I'm gonna break these loose now. He took the whole piston off. I don't know if you're supposed to do that because this has a little rubber shield. Oh, I guess they both do. Oh. I thought that was the end of the bolt. Yeah, I'm just gonna pop these off. And before I compress the piston, I'm gonna clean it because I don't want to get that shit underneath the dust boot. To do it yourself doesn't take much. I have a set of sockets, the big hole, and I have a socket set here that I got when I was a kid. I mean, I don't know where my tools went. I have no idea, but of course not. I think a person could buy these kind of tools with the cost of one brake job practically, and so they pay for themselves really quickly. Let's see which size fits on the back. So I used my nice organized set to figure out which size I needed, and then I went and hunted through this mess as this thing doesn't work, and I got my 17. Now I'm gonna use my roommate's awesome tool to pull this baby off. This thing can do anything. This is the most powerful tool I've ever used in my life. Here we go. That did not fit. Oh my goodness. So I need to pull the top trigger. There we go. It's gonna be loud. So easy. One. You can even do this one-handed. Physics. Okay. Here we go. Now, isn't this a thing of beauty? Check this out. Now, this is a rubber seal that's important for the, oh, you know what? I might not have to clean anything because this thing like folds back over. On mountain bikes, they don't have this much accordion rubber, and when it slides back, it introduces all the dirt that would be on the side here into the system. Looks like we won't have that problem. I have my parking brake on, I think, and I still was able to pull this thing off. I don't know why. Alright, check this out. That's the kind of sound you hear when you're driving. Okay, so, yeah, not much left. Ooh, shit. Yeah, see? So the squeaking sound that you hear is this little piece of metal. That's your indicator. That's why it squeaks. If you go past that indicator, then you're just solid metal rubbing on your rotors. But you only want semi-metallic stuff rubbing on that. And you can get your rotors replaced too, but you don't have to. Right here on the edge, if you look at this angle, you can see how it's kind of a 45 degree. It goes flat like this, but the corner is like chamfered. And when you take your brake pad to get resurfaced, which can be done on a lathe at a appropriate shop, that's the, once there's no more corner anymore, and it's just 90 degrees, they won't do it anymore. And that's when you know you need new rotors. Otherwise, they can just keep resurfacing them forever. Okay, so I came up with another use for this tool. It's all about having the right tool for the job. I swear. Sometimes you could be trying something for minutes and switch tools, get it done in seconds. That's what just happened right here when I was trying to do it by hand. I switched to, no, this part usually gets replaced with the pads, and it didn't come with new hardware. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm gonna reuse that shitty stuff? What the fuck? That's bullshit. I always replace stuff like that. Every time I've done a brake job, it's come with it, and this time I didn't get any. I'm gonna clean these. I figured out what it was. I bought the Duralast. I didn't buy the Duralast Gold. Only Duralast Gold comes with new hardware. So what I gotta do, I don't really have to, but I'm going to just clean this up with a metal brush. I mean, it's not like these things are in very bad shape. They don't wear out really. It's kind of old. Just a little bit of corrosion. Comes right off. Duralast probably good. I wonder which would have better parts. You know, Toyota needs to cut costs when they're building their car. Duralast needs to cut costs when they're selling brakes. This one's lasted so far, so I guess Toyota needs theirs to last during the lifetime of the warranty, so Duralast isn't good shit. They don't have any incentive to last. And so I'm just gonna clean these off. And I'm not gonna switch to the Duralast Gold just because I don't have the hardware. And I'm not gonna go buy the hardware because I already have the wheel off. If I had another car here that I could drive to go get the parts, I still wouldn't. It's only take a minute. I think I'm already done. And the time it took me to call AutoZone, I pretty much cleaned all 4 of these babies. Okay, so there's 4 on the left, 4 on the right. And, yeah, I think these things will slide nicely now. Pretty clean. Yeah, I'm really thorough. But we're talking a not very important part. And I don't think I'm going to grease these because I feel like grease is just going to hold on to contaminants and make it slide worse. Brake cleaner. No, use some brake cleaner on this. That's what that's good for, right? Look at that. I already have brake grease. Okay, I'm gonna go get my $2 back. Because I bought a little packet. And I'm gonna have to do a test drive anyway. Alright, let's clean these babies off. Now for you guys that have never used brake cleaner before, I'm going to recommend that you use these things. And for those of you that have used brake cleaner before, I'm going to recommend that you use these goggles. Everybody should, because this shit is powerful. Powerful shit. I don't really know what you're supposed to clean with this stuff, but that'll do. Clean all the grease off of that? I don't know. It's pretty cool stuff. It just evaporates real fast. Heard it's flammable too. Well, I have a new set of PPE, these gloves, because this shit got all over when I tried to open it. Got it on the driveway, and on my hands, and on this tool, because I couldn't get the cap off. So there's these metal shields on the back of all the brake pads, and they just slide off. And so what I did is I put it on the mating surface, and I just kind of smeared it around. I don't really know what I'm doing, but as long as there's some rubber there, it's going to be dampening sound and reduce the chance of squeaking. So you put that on, kind of let it sit out for a few minutes, and then put them together and kind of press it. But once you put it on the car, it's really going to get pressed, and then it will dry eventually and be there for the rest of the time you have the brakes on there. Maybe you don't have this type of product at your house. Maybe you have a spray paint. I've seen like blue spray paint that's like rubber, and that might be actually better because it's easier to reuse. Mine has got a little cap that I had to put it between the nozzle and the bottle. There's a plastic seal, or like a cardboard paper seal, and I tried to put it, like when I took it out it ripped, and then when I tried to put it back, I mean, I know it's not sealed now, so I don't think that stuff's going to be usable next time I have to do a brake job. So I'm going to get the spray paint next time. That's what my uncle has. So here we go. I'm going to try to compress my pistons now. So to compress your pistons, you need a clamp. I've used this kind of clamp before, and well, actually I've even used like smaller clamps like this. I would clamp one side, then clamp the other side, then clamp the other side, then clamp the other side, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Make sure your parking brake's off. My roommate has this kind of clamp. I think I'm going to use that. Parking brake released. And you might be able to do it by hand, you know, if you're really strong. Not even close. In addition to these 4 pieces of hardware, you also need to borrow this from your old brake pad. This is the indicator that I showed you. It's gonna, that part is gonna, this part scrapes against the rotor to indicate when it needs to be, the pad needs to be replaced. So you just pop that on. It's gonna go on the inboard side, bottom side, inboard bottom. So I guess that's the trailing edge. It's going to drag against the piston that way. Piston will pass by in that direction. So, I don't consider myself much stronger than the average bear. This took a lot of hand strength to do the piston job, but it was safe. I've heard people worrying about cracking their pistons. I'm going to get this thing situated on here so you can see the position that I had it in. That is how I did it, until it was flush. And now I have room for the new pads. Now when you pop this in there, it's going to be sliding right there and right there. And to avoid any squeaking, I'm going to apply a little bit of grease right along here. Just a little. The smallest amount that I can put on there. It really just ends up catching a lot of dirt if you put too much. And I'm also going to clamp on the bottom one of these the indicator from my old set. Right there. I'm not even going to clean it because it's not going to be in use. I take it back. I polished it a little bit. So I popped them in, and now for whatever reason the back one is kind of a bitch to get in, but I swung around and looked at it from the other side, and it was so easy. Kind of mad at myself. Anyways, now this is on. You see that it's loose? That's because this piston isn't even touching, but see that it slides along there. But these are tight. I tighten them with this thing, and so now if I hit the brakes, it should work. Let's see if we notice any difference over here in the reservoir. I don't know, is that any different? It's still like way over full. So now I'm pumping the brakes. See if it tightens this thing up. See? That doesn't wiggle at all. Cool. I think I'm done. So for this side, I was able to get my roommate's handy dandy DeWalt on the bottom side, but for the top side, there's this bar, and so I had to use this to get it. And at first it was really hard, but with the hammer, it came right out. So I just popped the bolt out, and then now this thing should just slide off. Slide back off of these pads. Oh, fuck. Gotta kind of pull it at the right angle. I need a hammer. I tried it last time. Okay. So I'm just gonna let that kind of hang down there. And now pull these guys out. See, this one came out like this, and this is the indicator. You can see that it's scraping. Oh man, I'm so close to the middle there. I'm glad that I decided to do the brakes today instead of going for a drive into the mountains, Santa Cruz Mountains, to go for a mountain bike ride. It's gonna be a lot better once I'm done here. Safe drives in the mountains. I need a lot of brakes to get this big old bitch stopped. Okay, let's see if there's a difference on any of these hardwares. So this one is where the thingamajigger was. Let's see, this top one should be the same if they're all four symmetrical. And in fact, they're the same. Bam. Good as new. They look dirty, but they feel smooth. These little suckers in. I think the best way is to go from the back. Back first and then the front. If you try to do the front first, front first and then the back, it's hard. If you do the back first and then the front, it's easy. So they're the same. So I'm gonna put it on this side. This is my little, you can see how shiny right there. That's the piece that always drags on the caliper right now. I put it on the bottom side, so I'm gonna pop it in on the bottom side. It's that thing right there. So just go like that. Pop it on. It's like this. So, an important part of doing this job is to be able to take the wheel off properly without breaking your back. I'm a nurse. This isn't nursing advice. This is more physical therapy. So, kind of, there's no lug at the top. It's kind of like flat on top. Kind of get the wheel like that. So you see my arm is right here on my knee. So now I'm gonna just sit my butt down, and the wheel comes up. Put these on, thread them by hand. I don't know how to replace a lug. I've always done it this way. Never had to replace a lug. So if you have 5 lugs, you skip a lug. If you have 6 lugs, you alternate. Skip a lug, skip 2 lugs. 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 Parking brake. $85 foot-pounds is what somebody said online. Nothing's happening. All right, that's it.